Yo, what up, Street Dogs? Eric Kim. All right, some quick turbo thoughts on iPads. So, a bunch of new iPads came out, blah, blah. I think I'm the only person that I personally know who uses iPad in some sort of interesting, meaningful way. Um, I do voice dictation with iWriter with the built-in Apple dictation, Markdown, make blog posts, email newsletters, whatever. Also importing my photos, Ricoh GR3X, SD card reader into the iPad Pro. I'm currently using the iPad Pro M1 and import photos and videos that way, upload it straight from the iPad. And yeah, and currently speaking, honestly speaking, using a laptop is probably 1,000 times more efficient than using an iPad. But for myself, I prefer using the iPad because it's just more fun, right? And it's good that Apple is still innovating their iPad because honestly, nowadays, now because of COVID, whatever, you don't really have laptop warriors at coffee shops no more because I think the effects of COVID kind of got everyone scared. So the real nerds who need to get coding done and other heavy lifting, I think would be better off having a Mac Mini or a desktop, like a Mac desktop, like the Studio, I guess. It's like took two Mac Minis and you made like a cheeseburger out of it, right? And I think the funny thing though is what Apple is trying to market their iPad Pro is to become some sort of productivity device, but I think that's the wrong way to think. It should be seen as more like a cinema device or like a creativity device. So what would be the difference between an iPad, a normal iPad, and iPad Pro? An iPad Pro would be kind of more of like a Silicon Valley elite person who needs the brightest screen, the best screen, the faster response rate, capabilities, etc. And I think, well, actually, a good pro tip too. I think Apple should just Apple iPad team, if you're watching this, right? You should just make the iPad Pro more expensive because people like Eric Kim, I could afford to buy like 1 billion iPad Pros, and I'm always going to want to have the best technology, right? So I think that if you guys are already working on it, think about the next generation. The next iPad Pro, just charge like $1,999. The $799 price point it's a little bit strange. And also a thing that I find so weird about Apple is like the weird pricing is like $429. Just make it $399. Just keep it at the round numbers mark. And so the benefit of making an iPad Pro, the small one, start at $999 is that hopefully it can have better technology. Because even the new MacBook, the new iPad Pro M2, I don't know, is the camera really that much better? I don't know, right? I'm using this right now, selfie ultra wide mode, and I actually find it to be quite good for vlogging and videos and stuff like that because the microphone is good. But a lot of it too is this kind of maybe you should do a commercial with Eric Kim where I want to kind of show how I'm holding an iPad Pro, vlogging without no extraneous thingies, with one hand, with my Vibram 5-finger shoes in the woods, in the mountains of Hadong, and effectively, using Procreate, ZenBrush too, right? I've been able to become so much more creative with iPad than with a laptop. So even now, like my 2017 MacBook Pro, I bought a refurbished on the Apple Store online. I think I bought it for like $2,000, maxed out, whatever. It's like so slow now. I don't really like using it. And also I get carpal tunnel on my wrist when I use the trackpad too much. But once I switch over to iPad Pro, my carpal tunnel gets rid of itself. And also the nice thing with iPad is I could hold it with one hand and I just walk around, and it allows me to be more mobile. And even Steve Jobs' vision, right? The idea to be able to use a computer or a laptop while standing, and therefore less carpal tunnel, less back pain. Even the problem with using a standing desk, let's say you have like the best standing desk setup, it's too static. which prevents you from moving. And I actually think that to have the most supreme and the most superior quality of thoughts, to ideally be able to walk and vlog at the same time is actually supreme. So like even now, right? You know, no external microphones. I'm just using the iPad. Yeah, it's working good. And the battery life on the iPad Pro is insanely good. Like now my MacBook Pro, it lasts like 30 seconds, you know, on its battery. And even a funny thought I had too was, maybe in order to become more productive, good idea to have not one, but two iPads. Like all the rappers, right? They're like, I got two phones. And the guy who came out was like, I got four phones. So to be able to have two iPads, maybe a good idea. You know, iPad mini, you could hold it with one hand. I don't know, could it fit into a pocket? I don't know. You make the pockets big enough, that's a good idea. And so also one thing I really love about the iPad Pro, which is a very subtle thing that, you know, shout out to the Apple iPad design team. I really love how everything's curved. Even the LCD screen itself is curved and the edges are curved. And this kind of gives you a kind of more of a Zen zone sense of things, which I personally love. Also the Wi-Fi on this is way stronger, more powerful than my laptop, even when using my phone, the new iPhone SE. And I've actually found a good productivity tip is just turn off your iPhone, totally off, put it in a drawer somewhere, don't look at it. When you go on a walk, just take along your iPad and see what kind of creative thoughts can occur.